All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, I'm actually repurposing an interview I did with one of our clients about a year ago. This is Doug and Haley Johnson, and unfortunately, only Doug could be present because they have, I think, 4 kids now, and so he's the only one that could be on the interview. But they went from just about $6,000 or $8,000 a month to over $100,000 a month in less than 40 days of being inside of the Consulting Blueprint program. And you'll see in this interview, about a year ago when we worked with them, exactly what, the changes we made in their business were exactly what we advised them to do. So it'll be a very, very valuable interview for those of you who are doing about a 6-figure year level, about, $80,000 to $120,000 a year. This video is for you. If you're a total beginner, you're still going to get a lot from this. But if you are sort of an established coach and you've got an offer, worth at least $1,000 or more, and you want to see, what sorts of adjustment, I would make, let's say you were to pay me and I would just to work directly with you, what I would tell you to do next, okay? So before we get into the video, just a quick shameless call to action to book your free consult call with my team. I'd say about 30% of the people that end up booking end up enrolling into our programs. And the reason why is because that other 70%, either they're just not ready, it's not the right fit, or we personally tell them that they're not a good fit. But if you are ready to go, you're ready to scale, and you actually want to grow your business, I would highly encourage you to take 45 minutes out of your week and speak with one of my experts. These are people that have personally trained from ground zero to being, coaches inside of our program. They've led a lot of our clients to the success that you see on this channel today. I run a weekly group call inside of this program. I answer all questions. I help you build your offer, build your marketing funnel, build your client delivery process. I help you with your sales skills, the mindset issues that are getting in the way of your business. We've served over 500 clients at this point. And, a lot of people, they just don't know what they don't know. They think they have it all figured out. They think they know what comes next, but then they hop into our community and they realize how much they've been missing. And we get this feedback all the time. So just want to encourage you to book your free consult call using the link in the description. It should be the very first link. And you can book in a time directly with the team, and you have a slight chance of it being with myself directly. Say the team is all booked out, okay? But appreciate your viewership, appreciate your loyalty to the channel. We've got all kinds of messages about how valuable this content is to you. Love getting those over on Instagram, especially. I'm very active on Instagram. Anyway, enough plugging. Enjoy the interview with our client, Doug Johnson, and his wife, Haley, who, again, couldn't make it to the interview, but we were able to grow their business extremely rapidly. So enjoy the full video. Hi, Mr. Doug Johnson. Welcome to the channel, dude.
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Of
Stoked.
course. Yeah, it's a long time coming, or long time relatively. You guys blasted off really quick after joining. Unfortunately, your wife can't be here because you guys have 3 kids, as I more than likely mentioned. It's 3, right? It's 3. It's not 4. It's 3.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. No, we've got a 4.5-year-old, 2.5-year-old, and a 9-week-old.
Dude,
so
I
like
love it.
fresh out the gate. Yeah.
That's incredible. And I remember on our onboarding call when you guys first joined in, I was like, there was a small part of my brain that was like, man, they have 3 kids. Like, I just want to give them the meat and just get them straight to work. So I'll kind of put the ball in your court, man. Tell us about yourself. I've recorded a separate intro by now for the video. So I've given people the context, the growth you guys have experienced. I confirmed your numbers before we started here just to make sure we're being transparent about everything. Just walk us through what you've seen and the differences that have happened. And I mean, this is your first time selling a high ticket offer, which is incredible. And you said it was like over 6 figures in the first 30 days after joining us, which is just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
So walk me through the differences, the main key value that you got, and just be transparent with the audience about what's happened.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, it's just my wife and I. Recently we did bring on somebody to help out to do other little things because we have 3 kids, man, and it's hard. But what I think the crazy value that we've gotten from you and, from your program and your team is just like being able to speak to something that's of higher level. And that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to find a way to be able to go high ticket, and we needed the steps, and we needed really the support. Cause like once you start getting a high ticket, it's no longer just like a one size fits all kind of thing. It's really, there's going to be really specific strategies that you have for each person. Everybody has different objections. And I think the transformation that we've been able to see is go from like super scattered, brainless, like we've done low ticket stuff before and tried to apply low ticket systems to our new high ticket offer, but we weren't able to do that, which is why we came to you to really learn the ins and outs of things. And honestly, we're super confident now in terms of being able to move forward with decisions that you've helped with our mindset. I don't want to like ruin everything right up front, but like just getting like 2 sentences from you. There was a time you told us if I could be really specific with everything that you've said,
Please.
we had issues being like, hey, who do we take calls with? Like Haley has a really big audience. We're scared that we're going to run into people that are just tire kickers or that are wasting our time and that just want to talk to Haley, or they're not a good fit. Like, what's a good fit for our program? And you were like, dude, just take calls with everyone and let your market determine who your avatar is. And that blew our minds. And that's what got us to hit 6 figures in 30 days, because we had this huge list of people that were no's. And you were like, no, just take it with them. And we turned them all to yeses. And that hit us like another 50 or 60K just from doing that alone. So it's those kinds of things that I think it's kind of hard to put into words because it's like very specific examples, but it's all of the specific examples together that have been able to push us to the 6 figure mark. And we're still trending towards that direction. This wasn't like a one-time thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it, dude. Walk me through your niche and your offer and what you do for your clients so people can get a good idea of what you guys are actually selling. What's the price tag? How many calls are you guys taking? And what's the niche in the offer? Just kind of paint a picture of what your guys' business looks like so people know who they're listening from.
Yeah, for sure. So my wife, Haley, she was a full-time YouTuber, full-time influencer, brand deals. I got to quit my 9 to 5 corporate job. So she was full-time doing the brands, ads, sponsorships, posting all the time, that kind of thing. And what happened was we found out that she got really burnt out from that. I got really burnt out from that. Our marriage was like stressed, relationship with the kids was stressed because the kids had to be in the photos or in the videos that were there. So it was super hard. And we found that people who have social, the social presences, they're like influencers. They don't have to go do brand deals. That's what everybody assumes, but what you can do instead is you can do courses. And that's what we did. So our first ever course, which is low ticket, was to teach people how to make it on YouTube. But after doing that, we found that there's a real need for these big influencers that are burnt out, that are stressed, to say, well, I need a way out of that. And so from that, we took a couple of coaching like students aside, and we coached these really high level influencers. And then we found it doesn't really just apply to influencers. It can apply to anybody that's on social. Lots of people have different skills. So our program is called Influencer Course Accelerator. It's not meant just for influencers. We just say influencer because you use social media. And people are like, oh, if you're on social media, you must be an influencer. It's kind of like a joke.
It's like a term that works for the industry.
Yeah. Like everyone's an
Yeah.
influencer at some point, So Influencer Course Accelerator is designed to show people how to create a course and how to set it up. Basically, you how to craft your offer, how to launch it, and then eventually how to automate it. And it's basically those steps that you need to take, so that way you can avoid brand deals, you can avoid burnout, you can avoid having to try to get monetized and get pennies for your ads, things like that. Like, that's what we want people to get away from, thinking that that's the only way to make money as an influencer.
That's solid. And you guys, I follow you pretty closely too. And I look at your business and you guys are doing, I think one of the things that you and your wife have done very well is you really did perfect your craft, and you knew what your audience needed to hear and what transformations they needed to be given in order to get the results. So it's like, that's the thing with a consulting offer, especially high ticket consulting offer, is it's less about giving them tons of information. It's more about telling them the right thing at the right time. Your clients are an example of that, and you are an example of that for our company. It's like, I believe everybody that's going to book a call, everybody that's going to work with us, it's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 things they pick up. And you get 6 months of working with us, but it's gonna be 1 or 2 or 3 things that you pick up that you're gonna be like, wait, like that's the ticket. That's what we hadn't heard yet. We never realized it was that way. We thought it was this way. For you guys, I mean, have you ever sold anything, and you may have, but have you ever sold anything over the phone before? Were you taking calls from your business, or was it all just landing page?
I mean,
like $500 product?
Yeah. So majority of it was landing page, like masterclass. So the funnel was organic traffic, whatever it was. We also started running a little bit of ads, but to a masterclass registration, go through the masterclass, hit the landing page, and then sales page, enroll right there. So that was our primary funnel for a while. Then we wanted to do high ticket, and we did take calls, but it wasn't like a formal sales call strategy. It was Haley had connections with people that were already in the industry. And it's like, hey, we're putting something together, kind of like just a beta program, like we're putting something together, work with us through this. And that's how it started. So it wasn't something like this. Whereas now I'm learning from your guys. I'm learning the sales process. Like, even just taking the sales call to be able to see if we wanted to work with you or not was a learning process in itself. Like, we learned a ton from that. So those would no, to answer your question, we didn't do anything like that before, but now it's the only way we want to do things.
Yeah, it's super powerful. Because I've said it in our videos before, it's kind of like you can go two routes as an educator, as a consultant or expert. It's like you can go the route of like, 1,000 ticket and lower webinar, landing page style, 19 to
Mm-hmm.
200 to 500, 1,000 upsell steps or whatever. Or you can just take calls and have honest conversations with people and build
Yep.
real rapport and trust and then make an offer when you know that you can help them. And that's like,
Yep.
it's so much more fulfilling too. I don't know about you, but when I transitioned from where you were to taking calls myself, because I've at this point taken over 1,000 calls from my company. Our community success manager, who is in charge of a lot of the calls as well, has taken probably like 200 now. We've had a lot of conversations, and it's way more fulfilling. And you can set the tone too. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you've noticed that, but it's almost like on the sales call,
Yep.
you're already helping them get results. You're already
Yep.
helping them make the transformation. So it's like out the gate, they're getting value. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
I
And
I
that's
didn't know you guys had never done phone stuff before. I was under the impression you'd maybe taken some
mm-mm.
calls before, but I didn't know it was your first
No.
time. That's crazy.
Yeah, we didn't really have any formal training on it. We based a lot off of what we've learned from you and the community, and really from like the sales call itself. Like we learned so much that was there. And you're right. When it comes to actually like taking the calls and actually being on the calls and doing those kinds of things, I'm able to provide value like right from the start. I'm able to provide value. I even tell them that. Like I tell them as we're getting on the call, I say, "Hey, I want to keep this casual. I want to give you value first and foremost. So that way, whether you work with us or you don't, you're getting something positive out of this." And that
Oh,
really starts
totally.
them off on the right foot.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest things I've seen too is that when we're working with our lower ticket offer, um, it's kind of like I don't know everybody. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
everybody that's in there. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, if who's what everybody's problem is. But when you're going high ticket and you're doing the sales calls and you get to know them, I instantly know who they are. I instantly know how I can help them, and it just becomes a much, like you said, more rewarding process.
Yeah.
And even if they don't enroll with us, even if they don't end up working with us, I still feel like I've had a positive impact on whatever decision it's going to make from there.
Exactly. Yeah, and I feel the same way because it's like when you get to the point where you have an offer with like as much authority as you guys have or that we have, like people know that they need to come to you to get the result that they know for a fact that is inarguable at that point. And so
Yep,
then it's almost like on the call, you're doing a little bit of coaching as well as a little bit of selling and a little bit of like
absolutely.
holding them accountable to their own word.
Yep,
There's like they'll come onto the call and then all of a sudden they'll hit price and there's an objection. It's like, well, hey, like you came on this call, you said you wanted to do this. We can help you get there. I'm sure you've had calls like that where it's like, look, I'm just shooting very straight with you right now. Within a week, easily we're going to do this. So what's really the hang up? Are you like and then you hear all of a sudden that they've waited for 2 years and they haven't done anything like this before, and there's
yeah,
just in their own head and they're insecure, and it's like you're working them
yep,
through all kinds of things so quickly. So yeah, it's a very meaningful way of doing business.
yeah.
So walk me through where you and Haley want to grow the business to then, because I mean you've already gone from multiple 5-figure month range
Mm-hmm,
doing lower
mm-hmm.
ticket and immediately 6-figure months or in
It's
being able to sustain. Like where do you
yeah,
guys want to get this thing to? Because you've got a lot of momentum right now.
yeah, dude. Honestly, it was kind of scary at first, like scary money
Yeah.
levels. That's
Yeah.
the kind of point that you get to, and you're like, oh, like we need to start outsourcing. We need to start hiring people to do different types of jobs for us, different types of tasks.
Yeah. And you know what
I
you really
mean,
need to is a lawyer. I'm gonna hook you up with
yeah,
my lawyer actually, because when you start to cross that million a year mark,
yeah,
a whole new slew of problems comes in terms of like your landing pages and like what you're saying publicly, like what you are allowed
yeah,
to say, what you're not. So I
yeah.
might actually give you that connect because he's really helped me navigate a lot. So
Yeah, for sure. We're for sure going to need that because that is where we're tracking.
yeah,
We're hitting that range. We're booking. And what's crazy is like we still need to book more calls.
yeah,
Um, and it's just finding that time to be able to get there. So I mean, to answer your question in terms of where we want to go, we do want to hit those consistent 6-figure months. We want to get up over that $1 million mark. And then from there, we want to be able to step back a little bit in terms of the like total hands-onness that we have. I
hmm
can't think of a better phrase for that, but like in terms of
yeah,
being like working on the program or working in it, we want to work less in it and work more on it. Figure out how can we improve it. Do we need to come up with a different offer to help take people up kind of where our level is? Do we need to start bringing people up in terms of that? And that's where we want to go. We want to be able to help. Haley's thing for a long time was she wanted to turn the influencer industry on its head. And that's kind of what we want to do. We want people to start thinking like, well, as an influencer, how do you make money? Well, you could do brand deals, or you can kind of learn from Haley and Doug, and they teach you how to make money in a totally different way that nobody's ever thought. And that's kind of the direction that we want to go in terms of the impact we want to make for people. We want to get people their lives back. If they want to have the opportunity to take their kids back out of the public spotlight but retain their income, then that's what we
Yeah.
want to help with. So 6-figure months, man, working with people to have big impact, change lives. That's just where we want to go and how we want to do things.
I love it, man. So it kind of sounds like for now, revenue, like sustain it, make sure you can lock it in, fix some of the back end delivery issues that come with playing at the scale you guys are now playing at, making sure your clients are happy they invested with you 3 to 6 months out. And then really just at that point, it's just continuing to focus in 5 to 10% of the time, getting better results and letting the growth just naturally happen.
Yeah. And that's it. You know, we know that our students are going to be our biggest advocates. And so getting them those results and being able to make sure that they're happy is a big part of what we're doing now. So we understand that in the beginning of this, you know, we hit this first big 6-figure month. We got to be really hands-on with these people because they're, in essence, they're kind of like early adopters in a way. You know, they went out with us. We didn't have a ton of reputation in terms of like, hey, we sell high ticket and we're really big at that. Yeah, we had a really good low ticket offer, and that's what brought a lot of people in to understand that. But we, you know, they were kind of like early adopters, so we want to get them that support and get them those results, because then they're gonna preach for us. And if we can do that, they can put everything out there. We can kind of let that momentum roll on its own. And like you said, it's like the things that you're going to help with, that you've already helped us out with too, is like, who do we hire? Do we hire coaches? Do we hire salespeople? What's the process look like on the back end? Because that's the thing people don't see. People think that you just get to get the cool car or the cool apartment with all the fancy stuff that's set up and it just rolls in, but they don't understand all the ins and outs of everything that happens on the back end. Legal issues, tech issues, coaching, employment. Then you got to start like business setup. Like there's a lot of stuff that happens that people don't understand. That's stuff that we need to work on too, because for a while, it's just me and Haley. And now we're like, well, it can't be that way anymore if we want to continue this path. Like we need to open up our minds to kind of let it go a little bit.
Yep. I think after this interview, once we stop the interview, your wife's going to come. We're going to do a little bit of coaching. I'm super excited to work through some of these things with you and just show you what I did. And I think it's going to be a valuable conversation. But yeah, I mean, getting you a sales rep, lawyer, on call, like on retainer, you know, just helping you navigate, you know, getting coaches in your community and making sure the coaches actually are good at what they do and that your clients love them and they love them back. Some things some stepping stones for sure, but
and that's, I mean, not to cut you off, but that's the stuff that's invaluable to us. That's the stuff you can't just go out and find. You can't Google that stuff. You can't YouTube that stuff. That isn't stuff that's somebody that you need to work with someone on. And Haley and I, you know, we preach it to our students and to people that are around us. Go find yourself a mentor. Like go find yourself somebody that is where you want to be. And that's what you need to do. You need to hire them so they can show you the steps to take there. And like you've brought up stuff, man, that Haley and I, we get off the call and we're like, dude, we've been at this for like 1.5 years or 2 years, and that's never crossed our mind ever. And that's the kind of stuff that you need to get with a coach, you know, or a mentor.
Love it, dude. I'm honored. I love helping you guys.
Yeah, I just can't say that enough. It's crazy. It just blows my mind.
So any sort of key takeaways, because a majority of my audience is going to be like, you know, 10,000 and lower monthly revenue, just the nature of YouTube. And, you know, just, I mean, nature of the world is most people haven't even gotten started. And a lot of people are just wanting to do it the right way. And there's a lot of insecurities that come with starting a business. There's a lot of, is Trey even going to be able to help me? Or do I even need a mentor? Am I broken? Like, you know, there's all kinds of, you were there, I'm sure, when you were first getting started. So
absolutely.
Kind of speak to yourself a little bit there. And even just forgetting us for a second, what we've been able to do, like, what would you say to somebody who's in a position of like, I know this is what I want to do, but there's a lot of fear. And that's where I was. That was my story. I'm curious what you would say to yourself 2 years ago when you were, you know, going all in on this stuff with your wife.
Yeah. I would say like the biggest issue that we had was thinking we were the exception. Thinking we the exception, that it wouldn't happen for us because of this, or it wouldn't happen for us because of this reason or that reason. Like we were the exception. We were always coming up with these weird objections that would stop us from being able to take steps to be able to go somewhere. And the best way to get out of that is to talk to somebody that's not you. Stop talking to yourself about these kinds of things and running these things that's going through your head. Like Haley and I, even each other, we were echo chambers to each other. Like I would say something and she'd be like, yeah, that sounds like a reason why we can't do this. Or what do you think about this? And I'm like, yeah, we totally shouldn't do that. It's all of a time of like a lot of concern and a lot of doubt, especially coming from me, because Haley's more of the entrepreneurial person.
Right.
But coming from me, it was a lot of like realistic things. And I'm sure a
Right.
lot of people out there are like, I'm a realist. I like to be realistic with my things. But the reality of it is, if I want to tell everybody, is that it's way more possible than you think. You just don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
And so you need to get out there. You need to learn about these things. And if you don't believe somebody that has success on YouTube, like if somebody looks at you, Trey, and they're like, that guy's, there's no way he's too young to make that kind of money. Like that's something they need to work on internally. And until they talk to you and understand like, shit, this guy's actually got a lot of experience, or anybody that's like that, they could actually have a lot of experience. They need to work on it themselves to just let yourself be coached, drop the ego. You're not special, and nobody's special. Everybody can do it. Like it's totally possible to do.
Yeah, it reminds me of this idea that I've kind of been trying to embody recently. And that, I think I'm a Christian. I honestly think God gave me this idea. He's like, you're going to succeed not because you're special, but because you're not special. Because you're going to do things the way that you're told to do them. And so it's like, it's not that, I have an inflated ego and my business matches the size of it. It's more like the more of a student I can be and the more I can honestly just seek help. Like I'm so in the market for a next stage, like somebody's doing $1 million a month who sees what we're on to here. And that is just willing to pour into me. I'm waiting patiently to find the right guy right now for sure. And I'll throw $100,000 at him. I mean, like I need it right now.
What's crazy, dude, is like you saying that is wild, because just like a week ago at church, the pastor said God uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things.
Yeah.
Like crazy, dude, crazy, right? And it's just like, yeah, we're all ordinary people. So why can't you go out and do extraordinary things?
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah, and everybody can, but they have that thing, like I said, that I'm the exception. I'm not extraordinary. I don't have this. I don't have that.
And the fact that you think you're special kind of weirdly is almost like a narcissistic thing. Like I had to come to terms with that with myself. It's like the fact that I think I'm different, there's a little bit of ego there. Like that I'm like, oh, that's not me. Like that's cool that they're succeeding. Like I remember being where you were that you're talking about. Like I'd see the testimonials and be like, there's no way that could be me. And then here I am 3 years later, exactly where I at one point was like totally doubting that I could ever be. And so it's a weird thing to look back and reflect, but you're completely right. It's like, accept that you're not the exception. And as you're saying that, I'm realizing that I definitely had to do that myself, and realizing like, if I just follow the lead of the people that have done it, if I get the right help, if I read the right books, if I just put in the work, I mean, reality is these people that are succeeding are just like me, with just 2 to 4 years of daily input, following the guidance of people that helped them. And that's like the only difference.
That's it, man. They're not like, they're physically like not some crazy like exception to things. They don't have some like special superpower. There isn't anything that's like that. It really is just, what are you doing to make the changes? What are you doing to apply those strategies? It's something that we struggled with, because Haley has a huge YouTube audience, or she did. She had like 180,000 subscribers on YouTube. So we always thought we were the exception. Well, this plan won't work for us because Haley has a YouTube channel and her demo is totally different. Or, we're on social, and so she's an influencer. So that strategy won't work because we have. And
I hear the opposite too. People like, I don't have an audience. I'm the exception. Like I hear it from every end of the spectrum. I hear literally people can make up any excuse.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things that just take a risk. Like just try to do it. Like, well, the first time we ever invested money in a mentor, I was like putting in the numbers, like getting scared, thinking, what if this doesn't work? What if this does work? But like, I can't say it enough. Like, you got to do it. If you want to get to places, you got to do it.
I love it, dude. I appreciate your time, Doug. Let's see, how long have we been here? 30 minutes or so ish. That seems like a good amount of time. If you guys want to follow Doug and Haley, follow along their journey, I'm sure we'll link them in the description, and we'll have an update interview when you guys are even bigger a year or two from now. I'd love to just share the journey and show people what's possible when you shift your mentality towards your business, from, hey, how do we build a system that spits out money, to how do we have conversations with people, solve their problems, and make them an offer that will move them towards the solution. It's a totally different mentality. So Appreciate your time, dude.
Absolutely.
Total pleasure getting to help you guys. I'm looking forward to the final 4 months or so of you guys being in the program
Yeah.
and continue to help you
Dude,
solve
no.
issues.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And honestly, again, like just the coaching you've given us is just so invaluable and being able to speak with you. So thanks for just being available to people, man. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy to have somebody with your level of success available to people. So we appreciate the help.
absolutely, man. Thanks for being on the channel.
Cool.
I'll see you.
Yeah, man.